out and then I'll share. So, okay, so I'm recording now, and here we are. It is May 27th. It's our weekly Healy user group, and tonight I am going to introduce Doc Ane, and she is going to give a little background on herself, and we're going to support some Healy user who might have an issue with their Healy or want some support to even get more results out of it. So now that I've got that on record, Ane, thank you, Tammy, for that. Would you want to go ahead and start from the top? Thanks, Ane.
Um, okay. My practice is in all alternative health and healing. And I have been doing frequency work since probably about 1982 and 1983. And found it with multiple different kinds of instruments and they could be licensed, so to speak, in the United States if they were stated to be biofeedback or TINS, as this one is, which I think is very wise. Anyhow, some of them worked really well and some of them were real expensive and didn't work very well, depending on how much knowledge you had behind them. What I found with frequency work is a part of my practice has been with brain damage and severely brain damaged children, including my own son, who was told to me, just stick him in a hospital and they'll take care of him. We don't know what's wrong with him. And he would never go to school. He would never sit up. He would never feed himself. He was never going to talk, and la da 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 da. He's 52 years old, is married, raised his wife's children and a grandchild, and has his own business. And he's a savant musically and has perfect pitch. So in 1968, 1970, 1971, we knew nothing about the brain. That led me to either be an over-imagination mother or quite a protective mother. And at 19 years old, in one of the doctor's offices said, he can't walk because the paper says that he can't. And he was walking all over the place, of course, and unattended by any, no crutches, no canes, no wheelchair. He was walking. Can't walk backwards, but he was walking. And it's pretty hard for the medical community to hear that. So what I began to do was really hear how the brain connects to the body and developed then a process called neurointegration that allows the nervous system to be at one with the body and our emotions and our mind and our spirit, and integrating all of that, of which I'm finding that Healy is a master integrator if you know how to use it. And one of my very first things to say about it is it's best for you if you run a program, for instance, that you let it run in, let it have time to process inside your body and your nervous system. For instance, run a program, wait 20 to 30 minutes and perhaps even an hour to let that program set inside of you, and then run your second one or your third one or your fifth one. It won't make any difference. And if you allow it to not be compounded by hitting it like a jackhammer with a whole bunch of frequencies at once, your process will be much, much better. So I'm available, and I want to see all of you and all the rest of the people that I have in my world be able to use their Healys at their maximum ability. So often, because we're trained to treat, period, your biggest pain, we're trained to treat it. And a doctor is very successful if he treats the pain and you walk out of his office and you don't have that pain. He's a great doctor. Doesn't mean he's done anything to get down to the basis of how that pain has happened or what has happened in your body to have that kind of pain, because pain is referred. It's always referred from something else. It's also nature's way of getting your attention to say something in your body you're not paying attention to. You are doing other things, making a living perhaps, and you're not paying attention to your health, nor the way your body is signaling you and saying, hey, I'm in here. Will you take ownership and treat me well? Feed me well and treat me well. It is a carbon-based substance, our bodies are, and so you can energize a carrot, but you can't get by with just being the energy of the carrot. You got to eat it. So we can help ourselves so much with this little instrument. It's just amazing to me. And over all of the things that I've done and all the materials I've had and pieces of equipment that have cost anywhere from $4,000 to $18,000 a piece, this is amazing, and all the things that it does. So what we're set to do tonight is, if someone has a question about something that's going on in their bodies and would like my assistance, I'm here for you. Ask and you shall receive. Come on.
It's
Okay,
okay.
I'm going to. I'll tell you about a client of mine a couple of mornings ago who has a Healy. I may have mentioned her, maybe one of the first meetings I was ever on, because she called me one morning in a frantic, and it was when all the freeze happened in Texas. She has a ranch way south of Texas. It's south in Texas, where it's never supposed to freeze. She's running a 22,000 acre ranch, cattle ranch, and they're calving, and it's freezing, and they have no water and no electricity. You can imagine the panic of that owner of that ranch. I said, send me a picture of the ranch. She sent me a picture of the ranch. And I said, and send me a picture of you. And she sent me a picture of her. And I started hitting that place with frequencies. And mostly I calmed her because she was so panicky. They did not lose a calf. That's miraculous.
Wow.
Miraculous. So a couple of mornings ago, she called me and she said, Anne, and she has a Healy now. And she said, I want to know, how do I get around my stomach issues? She said, I've been running the stomach program and I've been running the intestinal programs, and it helps, but it's not getting to it. And I said, so tell me, and I've had this lady in my clientele for quite a long time, where did you start stomach issues? How did you start stomach issues? And she said, well, you know, it's my nerves. I said, yeah, the lining of your stomach is nothing but raw nerves, and it's going to hurt. So how do you soothe that? First of all, you can't be eating things that are going to hurt it and cause it pain. So she's on several formulas. And I said, okay, what we're going to do with the Healy is we're going to the source of that. That's your nervous system. So I put her into programs that were in the mental balance. Then I had her go to deep cycle. And then I had to go to calm it, to put it all together, is I said, I want you to do cohesion or coherence, because that's what puts it all together. So we went down to down to down. She said, it's remarkable. My pain in my whole entire digestive system has stopped.
Good.
Can I run this every day? And I said, I want you to run that one 3 times a week, and I want you to run another one 3 times a week. And healing happens in cycles of 3. 3 days, 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 months, cycles of 3. Even the Bible talks about that, 6 days and 1 day off. So let your Healy rest 1 day and do 3 cycles, 3 days, do 3 other cycles, 3 days, and watch your success in how you're going.
Hey, Nate, I got a question for you. When you're talking about that, are you broadcasting that when you're suggesting that to them, or are you having them hook up and do
No, she has,
microcurrents?
no, she has a Healy. So she is on the Pink app.
Yeah.
Okay, she is on the Pink app.
So the
There
Pink
is
app, just in
one,
case we've got new people here, Pink app, when you're running the Pink app, that's when you are, you've got the Healy and then you've got the wires directly connected to you, like on the wristbands that you have. I'll go grab mine here in a moment, but it'll show you. So when she says Pink app, because I know we've got some new users here, that's where you actually connect in the little wires and then you run that on your wrists, or you get the little adhesive gel pads, like you could have little gel pads like this, and you could stick those on your neck or your arms, and you just stick these little guys, peel it off, and I could stick it there on my arm, and I can run it there, I can stick it on the back of my neck, and then I hook myself up to the wire so you're getting the microcurrents. So I want to distinguish that, and they just so we've gotten some new users so that they understand that as well. So go ahead, Anae. Sorry.
that's quite all right. Thank you. Um, and the pads can be put locally. The dialogue that we have that comes with the Healy gives us positions that are about the energy systems or about the chakra systems or the meridians and some of the, well, in my world, they're programs that work in certain points on the body. I have found for my leg, and I fell and broke my leg 3 years ago, a very, very bad break at 73 years old. And at 74, on the very day that they put 7 screws and a big old honking plate in my leg, I had it all taken out. That's because I'm a strong gal. So I put, when my leg, it never hurts really, but it will bind when I walk 5 miles because it'll feel like it has a little girdle on it. I smashed my finger yesterday, so I use the Healy on it too. Anyway, it feels like it just gets bound. So I put those pads that John was showing on my leg, one at the top of the scar and one on the opposite side of my leg. And I ran, for once, I ran the pain program. It helped a little bit. I went to coherence and it completely relaxed. That program has impressed me big.
Got it. So
Anybody?
got
Can
it.
I?
Somebody here who's had a challenge with the
Okay,
healing. They're trying to
Carol?
Carol, I see your hand up, Carol. So come
Yeah.
on.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My boyfriend Larry, he was diagnosed with atrial fibrillation, and he doesn't have any symptoms of any pain or fast heartbeat or any feelings at all. He's on blood pressure medications, but his blood pressure has been pretty decent lately. And he's been, of course, he was told that by his doctor that he should take anticoagulants, either warfarin or one of the other ones to prevent blood clotting. But he takes a lot of supplements. I'm saying a lot. and he's always been into that. And so a lot of the ones that he's taking are, blood thinning. And like a lot of the omega-3s and just all kinds of different things. And we also use earthing pads. And that helps with blood flow. And so he really doesn't, he doesn't want to take the blood thinners because for one thing, he's taken all these other things, and he's also using the Healy um, at, for
Can I
circulation
stop you,
and
please?
heart. Yes, dear.
Okay, all right. Due to our time limit, this is a long conversation, or could be. First of all, you know, the Healy is not about medical diagnoses. We are not here to diagnose,
I know.
nor we really are not allowed by law to talk about those
Mhm.
diagnoses, those labels. You know, medicine has to label you or they can't treat you, and they certainly can't bill your insurance unless they have labels on you.
Right,
Okay,
codes.
question. Where do you know that this kind of heart stuff comes from? Where does it come from? How does it happen?
Nerves?
Yeah, hypertension.
Oh, hypertension. Yeah.
Hypertension. Settle
Okay.
your butt down, Bubby. Now, the other thing I want to know is, does he like using the Healy?
Well, he does it, but he'll say, well, I'm not sure if it's doing anything.
Well, it is, whether he likes it or not.
Right.
And go to any of the programs that are about hypertension, about nervous system, any of the programs, and
Hmm.
pick one of the programs for the nervous system, pick one for the heart, and then go down there and do coherence.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And listen to, go back if you haven't gotten it, we can see to it that you get it, but listen to the gentleman who built the Deep Cycle program.
Okay.
I think that we've overdone, and that's one of the things that's really a problem, is there are a lot of programs that are about, they're about several different things, but they're the same thing. They're not the same frequencies, but they're going towards the same um, problem, let's say.
Okay.
So it's what I said to my little lady the other day that has the ranch. I said, I want you to do the deep healing programs. I want you to do them one after the other and find out inside your body, listen to your body, the one that feels the best to you, and run that one 3 times a week.
Okay.
So she's gone through each one of those and felt the very one, which is the fourth one, and felt it. They do way more than they can be described on any of our materials.
Okay.
And it's up to you to feel them. So, and it doesn't matter if you believe it or not, but it does mean, and there's a lot of people. In fact, I have another client who's here and she's got a Healy. She's not far from me. And she's all the time wanting to work on her husband. They've been married 63 years. And I said, has he ever liked you working on him? Well, no. And I said, so how's he going to start? He's 92 years old. Leave him alone. You have to work on you.
Hmm.
You know, we're always called, and I know there's a real big smile out of a lady here because I know her well. I get calls all the time because I work with the big C word, and I work with people who are in transition and they're dying. And I, I am constantly called. Well, my cousin, blah, blah, blah. Well, what does your cousin want to do? You may want to save the world, but your cousin may not want to do nothing.
Hmm. Right.
Good language.
Yeah. No, he wants to do, to heal it and to get
Okay.
not get any
You
blood
start
clots,
with,
strokes and stuff like that.
yeah. Do you know how to test for yourself? When you look at one of the programs, let's say the gold program, and all of those dots are in the gold program, do you know how to look at that and say, wow, this one I think will be the one? Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to
No,
do any kinesiology or muscle testing, or do you do a pendulum?
I need to work on that. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I've heard about all that, with the finger or the thumb and yeah, kinesiology, but I need to work on how to do it better. Mhm.
Well, perhaps, guys, we could do that.
Yeah, maybe we
Yes.
do that one time a day because I was gonna jump in here because I think there's a lot of folks, and I know my skill has gotten better of being how to pay attention to your body. You're saying it like it should be like we're talking here and you hear me and it's a known thing. When somebody speaks, you hear them talk, but there could be somebody where they're more deaf-like and they haven't gotten used to picking up those small vibrations or sensing in their body. When
Right.
you're saying you run the frequencies, and then how do I develop my ear to begin to, become that kind of sensitive? So that might be, something independent, but
That has, John, that has
go
to
ahead.
come from within. It's not an
Yeah,
outside voice. It has to be within inside of you, and you do, and you can
right.
develop that skill. But there's a couple of little things that I know, and I teach to just about everybody I can, that we could fortify in here, and I would be happy to do it, to do that training, because I've
Mhm.
been doing, well, my whole world is about kinesiology, and everything I do is done. I don't do anything to anyone. The biggest disease out there is our victimhood, because we're victims of the system. We're victims of everything around us. We're victims of our boyfriends and our husbands and our blah blah blahs. I don't have any of those, so I don't have to be there. But that is the biggest disease, because we're even victim to all the blooming advertisements on the TV. And why anybody would want to take a drug that's advertised on the TV that says it might kill you?
I
Or
know.
if you know you're allergic to it, don't take it. How are you going to know
I
that
have
you're
to laugh
allergic to
at
it if you
that
don't
every
take
time.
it?
That's so
Yeah,
stupid.
But they look so
crazy.
sexy in those ads, and they look like they're having the time of their life. I want that.
Yeah, really. Yeah. So let's do that, guys. I'm happy to do that. And so we'll just take it off from there.
That'd be
Good.
great.
You're going to do a demo? Or does anybody have another question right quick?
I
I,
think Phil's got
I
his
do.
hand up. Phil, go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Okay. Could you repeat what you said about the healing happens in 3 cycles or cycles of 3?
The cellular structure. Here's healing. First of all, the cells of your body have a membrane on them. And that membrane is like a drum head. And that drum head beats with healing, rejuvenation, and life force, or doesn't do it simultaneously, or death, dying, and being ill. So being ill is death and dying at cell level. So what we have found in my world particularly is that healing happens in cycles of 3. And maybe because we have cycles of neurons, protons, and electrons that are working. There's 3 and 3. See, everything is set up in 3s in the body. So it works in cycles of 3. And you will have healing by using the healing. You'll have healing in cycles of 3. Once you start a program, i.e. like I just set up for my friend, that 3 days of this and 3 days of that, that's 3 different days of 2 different things that she's going to create in cycles of healing. And she said, you taught me, Anne, years ago. I mean, I've had her in my practice and her children and her mom and dad, probably be for 30 years. And she said, you taught me in one of my very first consultations with you to leave off 1 day of supplements and everything so the body catches up with itself and rests. And she said, that's the best information you've ever given me.
So could that be like 3 times a day for 3 days a week?
It depends on whether your body, as we understand it, whether your body is used to having those frequencies. And I said what I said earlier, if you're going to do that much, leave space between one episode to another. Leave
Okay.
space in there, because you can overdose on any good thing. That's where you test yourself again. That's where this testing that we're talking about is very essential. is to find out if your body's ready for it again. You know, your head trip might be, but your body may say, wait, hold the phone. In fact, I'm staying with a lady right now that when she got her Healy, she started running it all day long. Well, 2 days later, she couldn't get across the floor because she went into a healing, what we call a healing crisis. Now, I think that's an oxymoron, but you'll feel like you're in crises because when healing takes place in the body, and this is Herring's law of cure in the 1400s. How he knew this, I don't know. But healing takes place in the body in reverse order of what went in it, from inside out, from head down. Okay, now Dr. Campbell, this person right here that's talking, made an amendment to that because in 1400, we didn't have the drugs that we have right now. And when we have taken a bunch of medication, we have been under anesthesia, that cycle changes because it's buried deeper in the tissue. Everything that's ever been happening to your body is actually in your muscle tissue. 80% of every drug you've ever taken is still in your body. May not be in your bloodstream, but it's in your body. So when you start doing anything like this, that brings up the past stuff, whatever you've stored, when it brings that past up, you're going to go through a healing of releasing. It's a must you drink water. And lots of it. And if you guzzle water, you're flushing the toxins out. If you're sipping water, you are hydrating. And it's good if you've got some minerals, because if you're taking water that has no minerals in it, you're going to get tired. Trust me.
So for amounts of water, because I know a lot of people just don't understand. They go, oh, I drink a lot. We're not talking about coffee. We're not talking about juice. We're not talking about milk.
Water.
We're talking about pure good water. And an
The therapeutic idea, the
right.
therapeutic dose of water per day for anybody. Now, this is for anybody to hydrate, is sipping on half your body weight in ounces per day. You weigh 120 pounds, you better be taking in 60 ounces. And only water. You will be really, really healthy if you'll flush in the morning when you first wake up with guzzling 20 ounces of water and get the toxins of the night sleep time flushed out of you. That, Carol, is extremely helpful for hypertension and heart stuff. Anybody with heart stuff. It helps the heart, it helps the liver, it helps the lungs, it helps the kidneys, and those are the 5 areas that the body starts failing in. Good medicine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks. I've got one. I
go
have one more quick question. I've just ordered out the Healy, so I don't have it yet. But if I want to start out trying to alleviate a low back pain, can you give me where I should start, or what would be a good way to start?
Water. Hydration. Most lower back pain, and particularly in men, is dehydration. The disc of your spine are sponges, and when they're dehydrated, you're bone on bone, and you can't help it. So you take your body weight and you divide it in 2, and you start drinking water, and you sip it. Don't guzzle it, just sip it. It'll take you a little while to actually hydrate, where a lot of that pain will go away. Okay,
Okay.
that's the big thing. The next thing, when you have your Healy, and this is a good question, thank you. When you have your Healy, the first program I would be running is on the Gold program, Pure.
Gold
And the
program, which
Gold
one?
program, the Gold program, the very first program on the Gold is Pure.
Okay.
Okay. As I understand this program and as I have felt it, it allows your body to start listening to the frequencies. and beginning to use those to either purify or have your body become stronger and stronger in the ability of the programs.
Mhm.
Okay? So you start there.
Yep, thanks.
And the other place that you'll want to go is probably down into Deep Cycle. Look at those programs and see about spinal process. See about the spinal process. Just look it up. And then the next one that you want to run is coherence. Because coherence blends them all together and makes them work.
Okay. My wife was talking to me in the background. I got the gold. I missed the second one. Sorry.
Okay, go to the Deep Cycle program. And
Okay,
in your manual, you will see something that says something about the spine
yep,
and your bones, period.
okay,
Okay? And then you want to run coherence,
okay,
And
not one after the other, remember?
yep,
Phil, I want to let you know this. When you get your Healy resonance, the Deep Cycle program that Anae just referenced to you will not show up. It comes 2 weeks later. Why does it come 2 weeks later? That's Healy sending out to everybody a gift. The Deep Cycle program comes about 2 weeks later. And it'll come to you and say, hey, thank you very much for being a Healy user. We're gifting you the deep cycle programs. So that'll be coming up for you. So when you get it, I just wanted to make sure that, because sometimes we forget because we're used to having deep cycle all the time, but when you're a new user, it takes about 2 weeks and then it just shows up. You don't have to do anything. It'll do an update.
okay,
On your Healy will
Good,
do an update.
good
It'll show
info. So now, without
Thanks,
that,
John.
go to fitness. Your second program should be fitness. In fitness is bone and joint.
I can show it here for you, Anae.
okay,
Great.
So Phil, this is what it looks like on your thing, and Anae, you just jump in and talk, okay? When we want. So Phil, when you get your Healy, you're going to have put it on your smart pad, your iPhone, whatever.
Yep,
I'm
yep.
touching the pink dot, and
Yep.
unfortunately here it went off on me, so I get to go reconnect. Let's do this here. I'm gonna do this.
Hey, this is Tina. I gotta sign off. Thank you.
Thanks, Tina. Bye.
John, I've looked a lot of on YouTube and seen how to do a lot of this stuff. So I think I should be able to find some of those. But you said the fitness and then go to like bone and joint?
Yes, on fitness. Can you, I don't know. I guess he's not gotten himself back together there.
Yeah, okay,
And well, I would do Meridian. Meridian 1 or 2 will have some kind of bone structure, maybe spinal. I'm not sure. I don't have mine listed right now.
sure, okay,
And I don't have it on. So just look in that program. Meridian 1 or 2 will begin to give you the nerves of the spine, because your nerves are inflamed in lower back pain as well. So anything that comes out to talk about inflammation.
okay.
Can I ask a clarification question? When you said when you were talking about the digestive tract and 3 times a week in a cycle of 3, so is that doing the mental balance, the deep cycle, and the coherence each on one day, 3 times a week?
Each one of those on a day, 3 times a week, yes.
Okay, just wanted to
Okay.
clarify.
There are more neurons in your gut than there are in your brain. And
Oh,
a
wow.
neuron is a brain cell.
Wow.
So whatever's going on in your gut is going on in your head. If you're constipated down below, you got constipated thinking. It's a must.
I know one homeopathic doctor many years ago said the 2 most important things are what goes into your body and what comes out.
Yeah. And believe me, what comes out's very important.
Yes.
So
Oh, I'm back. My computer did a reboot. I'm glad you guys continued on. It's always
Okay.
nice. So I don't know where should I go back and should I share where that was on the Healy pink dot or not?
let me share with, I think you're just fine. One of the things I did when I first got my Healy, and you all have a little bit more going on right now than what I did. And I went in and I did a screenshot of each one of these programs so I could see, oops. Can you give us just a screenshot of that's
Trying to see
pain
what's going on
treatment,
here.
but hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, well, let me find out. I'm gonna reboot this because something's going wonky on that. It was, as you saw, it was misbehaving. Maybe that's what caused my computer to
So
crash.
I brought up, just very easily, I brought up each one of them on my Healy, and I didn't run anything. I just brought it up so that I could see all the programs that were underneath that one set of programs. So Gold Cycle has what, 7 programs? There it is, right there. See, 7 programs. So I did a screenshot on that, and then I printed it on my, off my phone, off my iPad, so that I could, and I have them on my pad. I'm not on my pad, I'm on my computer right now, but I did a screenshot like that. And then one of the things I would do, and as we're going to help you with, is the testing to see which one is appropriate for that moment, for that time. And I would touch it and then be able to say, well, is this the program? Is this appropriate at this moment? And we ask the question with, is it appropriate for me at this moment? Leaving out the word okay, because anything is okay. Is it appropriate for me at this moment? So we test each one of those. That's what I did. And I had them all on. So I would just go down the dots. I just go down the programs and the dots and say, okay, which one should I do now? Because your body knows. Your body will not lie to you. It's the thing between your ears that is a liar.
So that's like you're dousing it?
Yes, dowsing it. Mhm.
Okay.
How
Okay.
long have you been using the Healy?
I got mine the 1st of December, near my birthday.
So what were you using prior to that for frequencies?
Actually, I designed my own program. I have a big computer that was in my laboratory. And I used it. And I designed a laser that has 13 hardwired frequencies in it, and I would use it. I have 2 other lasers that were veterinarian lasers. I use those, and they all have different frequencies in them. I have now a laser that has 432 frequencies in it, and I use it every day.
Okay. So are you also an engineer?
I'm an alchemist. No, I'm not an engineer. I'm an alchemist. And I'm not a real good chemist, but I certainly know how it works. for instance, did a cattle research project for 4 years on 50,000 head of cattle and proved that I knew what I was doing. And I had built this program inside this big computer that had sound, it had lights, it had probably 485 crystals that were all programmed at different frequencies. And I would run a solution made out of humates. I made a solution. I made a black solution and I made a gold solution, which was humic and fulvic. And I dripped that in cattle water for them to drink. And in so doing, in the feed yard, being fed an antibiotic and having an implant in their ears, after 50,000 head of cattle, I would take pins of cattle randomly and I would test the blood of 12 cows out of a pin. And with my solution in the water, which catalyzed out the poisons that they were being fed, they went to slaughter without drugs in their brain, drugs in their muscle, and drugs in their liver, and drugs in their bones. They were clean eating. Well, Monsanto came on and said, you can't do that. We won't buy another cow from you guys. That wasn't nice. But that was one of my plays, just to kind of play around. I didn't know what I was really doing. And this cowboy just gave me, he said, I want you to do this, because I'd gotten his wife out of a wheelchair and with some work I had done with her. And he said, can you do these for the cows? And I said, sure, we can do it for the cows. So I said, how many cows? I thought he would give me a few cows in my front pasture to say, you know, like when they do control studies, I was looking for 30 cows. He said, more than that. And he said, and they're on the feed yard. And I said, so you're going to give me 1,000 cows. You're going to give me 500, more than that. He said, little lady, step over there and count those cows. Well, I started with 9,200 head. And I thought, well, I've either got a big head or I've got some big britches. And we went to work. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun doing that. I did the same thing with chickens. I had 10,000 chickens in a barn, and the story was they weren't going to buy those chickens, and they weren't going to let that chicken grower have anything to do with what I was doing, even though we saved a lot more chickens and they tasted a lot better too.
I have a question back to the back pain. If the back pain is related to scoliosis, kyphosis, spinal stenosis, one of those, would you use the same programs?
I would probably, and I'm available to fine tune for you. I'd probably do a little different. I'd have to come into your space in order to really do that. And right now where the computer is, I don't even see you. I don't know who it is, but I'm available and would help you. I'm available for consultations. That's the way I make my living. And so if you would like that information, we can provide that for you. And I would be happy to help you. You're in a degenerative process. And how old are you? That's going to make a difference. What your diet is, that's going to make a big difference.
Right. It's a family member.
Okay. Well, I can tell you one thing. The biggest deterrent in our world today on bones is wheat. And it's sugar.
Interesting.
It must be stopped. Wheat and sugar. Stop wheat and sugar, and you'll feel a lot better.
What is it that wheat does to the bony structure?
Well, wheat is very poisonous. It cannot be GMO'd. It can't be an altered cell. It can't be an altered seed, but they spray it highly with pesticides and fertilizers and all that happy crap. and it's poison. And it creates inflammation because it doesn't digest. It's no food source anymore, and it doesn't digest. So all it does is throw off toxemia that becomes inflammation. And you
Okay,
become
so when
calcium.
the farmers plant Roundup Ready seed, they're planting poison.
Correct. See, one of the things that happens is calcium is the thing that needs to be in your body to neutralize acid.
Right.
Okay. And calcium is leached away by sugar in the diet. And it's also leached away with wheat, which again causes more inflammation. And the way that the inflammation gets more and more is calcium is brought out of the joints and trying to calm that down, calm that inflammation and that heat down. It's acid. And wheat makes acid, acid, acid. Sugar makes acid, acid, acid in the body. So when the blood is acidic like that, then you have nothing but inflammation that you're working with. And what happens is the bones begin to degenerate. There's also a problem with the parathyroid gland.
Right.
It's right here. And the parathyroid gland is supposed to take care of the degree of calcium that goes to the blood versus to the bones. And the other thing that's extremely necessary is enough magnesium, because if you don't have double the magnesium to the calcium, you don't assimilate calcium to begin with. That is not in the wheat. We don't have any of that in wheat anymore. We're eating poison.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I was aware of some of that, but not all of that.
When you had the lady down in Texas with all their cattle, 22,000 or something, and you broadcast something out to the cattle, were you able to do that by just having a photograph or a
Well,
picture
that's what
of?
happens in the that's what happens with the resonance program, the Blue app,
Right,
is yes.
but you can
Because you
operate
take
with just the photograph, not having the frequency
well, the
also.
frequencies are in your Healy, in the resonance program. And you have a photograph, which becomes what we call in this world, a frequency world, a witness, a photograph, and then you have the location. You know, all of us, you can do a person, you can work with a person, an organization, a farm, a garden, a dog, it doesn't matter. I mean, there is all kinds, a building. Once upon a time, I took pictures of my TV because there was something happening in America particularly, and I started broadcasting. I started sending healing like you would not believe. Mega sending healing. So yes, that's the way it works. So your resonance program, if that's the one that you bought, I'm not sure.
Yep,
I don't know
yep.
which one you got. That's what happens with that. And so all I did is start broadcasting, but I stayed with it. So you can set it, you can set that up to send those energies out for a timer. I mean, you've got a timer on it, and I set it up for 8 hours. I did it all night long for them at the ranch. I didn't have to do that much for the lady, but I did it for the ranch because it was huge. Those cattle were everywhere.
I'll give you I'll show you what that looks like, Phil. I'll bring that up, but you can keep talking about something else on there if you want to name. I'll bring that up and just show you what that looks like on the blue dot.
Okay, you got to give me to something else.
Yeah. You know, maybe what you can do with this a name is, while I'm bringing this up, you mentioned that, you know, and obviously you do this work on the side and can do it. Why don't you, in the chat, put your contact information, and if anybody wants to connect with you, you know, after this, they know how to reach you on that. You can drop
Okay.
that in the chat, and
Okay.
then they'll have that information to reach out. And I am going to share my screen.
Okay, that's my phone number. Now, remember, folks, I'm in New Mexico. Don't call me at 5 o'clock in the freaking morning.
Okay, it bounced off, so we didn't get it all.
Yeah, it only flashed, John.
Oh, so you lost the chat? Let me stop the
Well,
broadcast.
when you put up the resonance picture, okay, there it is.
There it is. So let me go get it out there. So there it is. So there's her phone number, 575-937-4404. And it's Anae, A-N-A-E, last name Campbell,
Mountain Standard Time, thank you.
Mountain Standard Time. Okay, I'll go back to screen share if everybody's got that. Show you this, Phil. So this is what it's going to look like when you get your healing. I open up, again, I'm going to go through here. I've got it on my, my smartphone, Phil. I've got it on my iPad. I've got it on my Android. It does, whatever your device is,
Yep.
you'll use these two apps to the right. Pink dot, which I showed you a moment ago, and blue dot, this is the one where you can analyze and broadcast frequencies. So I'm going to open that
Okay,
blue dot one up. Okay, so let's go try that again. They're always interesting when we get this in the middle of a demo. I'm going to restart that again.
Finishing on Zoom call.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's okay. What time is it? I would think that in the next 20 minutes or half hour, is that okay? Or is that, okay, I'll call you back.
Okay, so here we go, Phil. So
Well, I
I've-
don't know. I'll let you talk.
if somebody else is there, maybe you want to just.
Well, just-
mute
can I
your-
call him back?
Yeah, he just said he'll call you back.
So if you mute your mics for a second, then it'll be
Yeah.
okay. So I'm going to go through this and I'll show you what's going on. So when I open up the Blue Dot app, Phil, this is where you'll go, and anyone else who's like Phil, who's just learning this, will do a resonance analysis. And at the very top here, it says where you can add a new client. So you can see that I already have clients in here. I've added people. I've also done our user group. I've taken a picture of our user group and I've broadcast frequencies out to the group. Anae showed you how she could broadcast it out to a herd of cattle or to a flock of chickens. You can do it to your family members. You can do it to your business unit, what have you, to your club. So how does that happen? It starts up here at the top where it says add a new client. What is the client? Okay, let's go see what our choices are. And as Anae said here just a moment ago, these are the choices that you can add. The menu pops up and goes away, but this is where it is. I've always wondered what other is. Maybe that's, are you down there in that section 54 Anae or wherever that,
Area 51?
Yeah, Roswell, it's the
Roswell.
other.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
there's television.
That's where I
Okay,
was born.
Yep. Okay, Roswell. Okay, so here we go, Phil. So you'll go through here and let's just go through and why not? I'll go through here, Phil. I'll take a photo and I'm going to zoom in here close and tight and get you. Okay.
Let me insert one of the things too, is if you cannot get a picture, I started to say this a while ago, we are totally known by the last 4 digits of our social security office, our telephone number, and our birthdays at any doctor's office on the whole planet. That is your resonance. So I have taken my people where I don't have a picture, I write all of that information down and take a picture of that and I stick it in their picture. I may have it down here listed also, but that's what I use as a picture because it works.
Phone number, birth date, and social security number, the last 4 digits?
Well, what we are known for right now,
Sure.
and it's the resonance, it's a resonance that I absolutely don't have any understanding. As much as I know, I do
Uh-huh.
not have an understanding about how my phone works, but your phone number is you. Okay, and
Yep.
it resonates to you and bounces off, even if you're talking to somebody that you call them across a room from you, it goes through at least 8 satellites before it gets back to you, and really fast. So your phone number is you now in the resonance world. So is your picture.
Okay.
I worked with a fellow the other day who I didn't have an address on him. And I had his wife's phone number, but I did not have his. He was in a hospital. So down here in the address, I put the hospital and the room number that he was in. I also wrote that on a piece of paper because I didn't have his. I did know his birthday because I was talking to his wife. I put that on the piece of paper and took a picture of that.
And I think what this all ties into too, Phil, along with that, from what Anae is saying, what I actually understand and know too, is intention.
Yep.
I'm
Indeed.
thinking of you, I got you. That's it. I mean, I can use numbers and stuff, but if I'm going through here and I'm thinking of you, because I'm going to do that here in a moment, I'm going to hold up the Healy and I'm going to record your vibration. And because of that, you could be on this Zoom with me, you could not be on, but I could go through here and say, okay, I'm now capturing Phil. And now I'm capturing your frequencies, I'm surrogating you, and I've got you in here. If you were here with me locally, I'd hand you the Healy and you could hold it.
Okay, but even though you're holding it, it's not capturing your frequency. As long as the intention is you're capturing mine.
Correct. And it works. I know it's a weird and it's space age like this, but I've done enough of them. Like I've done this Healy user group. I've taken the Healy user group. We've got a couple testimonials. Tammy has one with a friend who had a bump in her jaw and it started to melt away. I think that was on a Healy user group, but if not that, I also had one when a woman burned the roof of her mouth with hot cheese. She had a blister and a sore thing. We ran frequencies to a group, to the whole Zoom group, and she goes, "Hey, do you mind if I share something? My blister went away and the top of my mouth doesn't hurt." And it was me here, took a picture of the group, I held an intention of the group, added it in here, just like I've done on the screen, and then I typed in Healy user group and this date. And then I broadcast frequencies out to the group and we got a result. We're more powerful than we know. We are more powerful than we know because we all come from source, and what that source is has to be almighty and has to be unbelievably powerful. And sometimes we forget that, and this little device is waking us up. It's helping wake us up to what we can do. So this is what we're doing here, and as we do it, we just keep getting better. So now I've got you in here. I'm going to type in your name, Phil.
We know in science and neurology that any group of people, neurons begin to blend together, no matter how far away they are. Aha. Science even catching up with us.
So I've got it here. I'm going to make a database selection, Phil. This is like what you'll do when you run a scan on yourself.
Yep.
And I will come in here. I'm going to come up from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, it says all Healy programs here.
Yep.
And then you see in brackets, it's 20.
Yep.
So and if I were to start to count above here, I would count, and I skip where they have Healy. But everywhere where they have Healy, there's 20 of these. There's 20 across this whole thing. All right.
Yep.
So we're going to scan and we're going to find out what the top 5 are. That are your
You're going to go
highest.
under all Healy's programs and scan that one.
And we do that first. So I'm going to do that first. And
Okay.
it says start analysis. I put it over here. And again, I'm surrogating you. So I'm going to place my finger and start this. And it's going out there and it's scanning your bioenergetic field right now. And now it's come up with its result, and at 69%, so we ran all Healy programs.
Yep.
At 69%, it said Healy Bioenergetic Harmony #2 programs. Also tied in with that is Healy Watch programs. Both of these guys are up at the top saying those are your highest need. Then dropping 11% would be the Healy Beauty programs, then Protection, then Gold Cycle.
Okay.
Now, what's pretty cool about this is, one, I could send you, a PDF of this, but I also can go through and I can send you vibrations right now across all 5 of these programs. And when I'm running this, my experience has been when I've broadcast out to a group or group of individuals here, 10%, maybe 15 can actually feel this. And Tammy and I were on a call earlier this week on a Zoom call, and we had the most amount of people I've ever had. I think we had about 7 or 8 people, and half of them were saying, oh, I feel it in my feet. No, 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 I feel it in my chest. No, 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 I feel it in my head. And it was just interesting. They were all true with what was going on. And then the other ones who didn't feel it, it doesn't mean they're not getting the benefit. They just haven't gotten, peeled off the onion layer to get that level of sensitivity yet. But it does mean you're getting it. So in this case here, this is a way to broadcast out programs to somebody. And how long did that take me? Now I know in the beginning it's a little overwhelming, but once you get this thing set up with and you play with your Healy for 2 weeks, you got it. You got it, Pat. And you've got support, you've got videos to help you do this.
Was there a time set up automatically?
Yes, this had a time duration. So down there in the bottom, see this little 1
Okay,
minute, 20
gotcha.
seconds? If I touch that, now I can choose.
Okay.
John, can you remind me what the watch program is?
Sure, let me kind of go in there because they just added that, Diane.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that one.
Healy, what they've done, Diane, they have gone through here. I'm going to go through and, okay, let's go through since we're playing with Phil here, and I'll bring that back up. Actually, maybe what I'll do is I'm going to go out of the I'm out of the blue dot here, and I'm going to go open up the pink so I can no, I won't be able to there. I don't have that on this one. I got to come back. Let me open it up. So the watch program, Diane, what they have is they have a watch. Healy has a watch that you can have and you can wear it, and it measures your physical, it measures your physicality stuff. What does it measure? It'll measure heart rate variability. If you're familiar with, are you familiar with HeartMath Institute at all?
Very little.
Okay, what they do is they measure the coherence of the heart, and the heart has its own rhythm. And if the heart is stressed, not measuring beats per minute kind of stuff, but it has its own coherence on how it regulates the body. And it actually regulates the brain, the coherence. And HeartMath teaches you how to go through like breathing exercises and what to do to begin to calm yourself to create more equanimity. So Healy on the watch program, it measures your heart rate value. It also measures your sleep value, but your sleep value measured by how much REM sleep you get. So then it broadcasts that back into another program, and Healy created programs, specifically frequency programs, with the microcurrents that you could run to help adjust your heart rate value, to help improve your REM sleep value. What they also did, since you just noticed that there, I'm going to grab here with Phil and see if it works here for me. So, where did I go here? Let's get Phil, since Phil volunteered here tonight. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to look for the Healy Watch program. Okay, so I got Healy Watch Meridians and then Healy Watch program right down here. So I see it, right there. Healy Watch Digital Nutrition, Healy Watch. So in here it says there's 12 sub-programs. So I'm gonna come over here and click on this dot and we're gonna see if they've got it working. There it is working. So these would be the programs that we can actually vibrate into ourselves now with Healy, which is pretty cool on the blue dot. If you buy a subscription, you'll get these programs on your pink dot, and you can then also microcurrent put them into your system. But this way here on the Healy, on the blue dot app, we now can vibrate these into ourselves where before we couldn't. This is something Healy just delivered to us on the resonance model, the professional model, is one of the things they just gave us. So these are some of the programs.
So when you say vibrate these, then you just select those, click on it and run it?
Right.
You
so
don't have
the
to
way
use
that
the
I do
wires?
that, Phil, the way that I do that, I've now selected the Healy Watch
Yep,
programs.
yep,
I do an analysis. We're going to find out of those 12, what are the top 5 that you need.
okay.
So in here, we'll get a sense here since you're our demo guy tonight.
And you don't need to have a watch to do this.
No, you don't need to have a watch this. If you've got the professional thing, you can only broadcast it to yourself. You can't use it through the microcurrents.
Okay,
But you get the benefit to at least broadcast it, where before you didn't have that. So you can go like, wow, okay, so my heart rate value balance is high. Oh, tension balance, heart rate support. Well, let's go through and we're going to vibrate. And here we go, since we'll go through there and we'll give Phil 37 seconds of this. And this will, from here to there, start to try and help and work and start to help balance your coherence on your heart rate variability here.
how did you select the time?
I'll show you again. Here, I'll stop.
Oh, no, I know, which, but how did you decide 37 seconds versus the 1 minute and 20 seconds or the 5 minutes?
Because we're on a call. We like you, but we don't like you that much.
So you're not gonna sit and watch me for 2 hours, huh?
No,
Right.
thank you. I'm going to bed.
Right.
Not yet on that. I've got a question.
So anyway, so that's what that looks like there, Phil. We're going to pause it because I want to go back to that database again.
Yeah,
And show, because it's kind of interesting when we get to see the various, when I go into the database now, Healy, just so you know, this program Resonance that we have now, we're all grandfathered in. What does that mean? Healy's changing their business model. They're changing their business model July 1st. I don't really know what's going to happen next month, what they're going to do for that, but we're grandfathered in with the Resonance, this Resonance model that we've picked up, for the price that we got it at. Come July 1st, if you want to buy it, it's going to be about $4,500. So they've been packing it full with a lot of extra frequencies and stuff to do. But they're also going to move to a subscription-based model because they feel like, well, there's a lot of people that maybe they can't afford it. So they will pay a couple $100, they'll get a Healy, and then they'll rent a program or two, or maybe a bundle of programs for anywhere for as cheap as $5 a month to maybe $150 a month, depending on what bundle of frequencies they're going to utilize. So they're changing their business model, but us here, I think almost everybody on this call has the Resonance. We're grandfathered in, we've got the professional model, and so what did they add new to it? I'm going to start from the bottom and go up. I'm going up, 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 up. Vital Substances, 76. This is brand new. 76 new programs. The Healy Watch, Digital Nutrition. The Healy Just Plain Watch. The Animal Programs. Healy Digital Nutrition. This is all new stuff they gave us. The Healy Meridians programs. So if you haven't been in here exploring this, I would encourage you to come in here. I'm going to keep going up what also is brand new in here. And maybe we can do this on a call. This creative homeopathy. I'm going to put out a video from the time waiver therapist who put this together, Antonio Pepler. She's German. It's translated into English. She talks for about 50 minutes and she talks about what she's done here with these homeopathy programs, and it's just stunning. Again, Healy just gave this to us right now. So there's a lot of new stuff that we got here in our Resonance model that if we haven't been using it, there's a lot there. So I'm going to pause with this part of the demo. I'm going to end this part of the screen sharing. And I'm going to—
John, for this new Resonance, do we have to go in and download that?
You should already have it. If you haven't, Diane, okay, I'll go right back into it one more time. I'll show you where it goes. It should automatically download for you, but if not, you see this little gear wheel at the bottom right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to touch that and it brings me to this screen here. All right. And anybody, if you don't have your Healy right now, don't freak out. We'll help you. That's what we're here for. That's why I run this call. That's why Tammy's here, why Nay's here, and everybody here, we're here to help you get this. So then we come over to here where it says cloud settings. I touch cloud settings and I can, down here at the bottom, it says right here, it says sync changes. So my last sync was 6 minutes ago. That means I've got everything in there. I don't need to do it. But if I were to touch this thing, full synchronization, there it goes. Now it's going to go through a sync process and it'll look like this. It's downloading all the lists, doing everything. And this thing sometimes can run for 5 minutes or longer.
Okay.
So don't worry, but you see the little, and it's best if you've got good internet connection, but it will work off your cellular data network.
Hey, John,
Yes.
that I saw animal program there. Is that the same as the pet program that I saw out there? Someone asked me that. That was dog massage therapist or whatever.
Yes.
That
That
is the
is. So
same.
over
They're
there-
just called something different. I just was making
Yeah, they're
sure.
marketing sometimes on it, Tammy. Yeah, good point. They still haven't got the naming sometimes on that exactly right. So here, I'll just choose
Okay.
me.
Good, because we were under the impression it wasn't included, and I saw on your screen now, I didn't notice that, but that's on there, so I just needed to tell someone.
Yeah, it's in there only in broadcast mode.
Okay,
Only in broadcast. If they go through and they get the subscription, they'll get little devices to hook up to their pet, and then they'll
Okay.
get it with the microcurrent frequencies that they can actually do the microcurrent treatment on their pet.
I see. So you get
In
it in the
addition to
blue, but
broadcast.
not the pink and the tools then?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep. So there it is for the pet. That's what I just brought it up. What it looks like on the Tammy over there. If you wanted to see it, I just ran up the pet program. So
Okay.
that's on the inside the different frequency sets that they've run for animals. So I'm gonna kill the this part of the sharing my screen, and Pat Miser, otherwise known as Mom, you had a question for Renee.
I did. Ane, I don't know how many years ago I had to have some skin cancer removed from my forehead. Okay, and it left a big scar and a lump, and I don't like that. So John hired Derek over in Hawaii to try and do something. And then John has run his time waiver on it, and I run the skin programs. I'm sorry to say nothing has happened. I mean, at one point I hired a plastic surgeon, and he went in and said, oh, I took it out, it's all gone. Well, wonderful, except it all came back again. My dermatologist gave it a shot, and I still have a lovely lump in the front of my forehead. So, Ane, what am I going to do?
One of the first things I did with the Healy when I got it is I have a little dog. She's been really quiet because she's right under my feet tonight. And it's a Shih Tzu. And Shih Tzus they make sebaceous cysts like no tomorrow. And she had quite a few of them. And I started running the skin program on her. I took a picture of her and I ran her in the residence, and I started running a skin program on it. Several of them just completely went away. One opened up and drained completely. Actually, 3 of them opened up and drained completely that were really large. Your forehead, first of all, your forehead has very little availability to detox because there's not much skin there. You're on the bone, okay? So I would run the skin program, and I also would run the scar program, and be real willing to be very aware that it may not do anything because, first of all, your age, and because there's lack of circulation there. If I had something like that on my forehead, I would be playing with it all the time. I'd press on it, rub it, I'd move around it, and I'd be messing with it because you're going to stimulate it to go down.
Well, the interesting thing is, of course, I do that. Anytime something's bothering you, you're attracted to it, right? So
Oh, of course.
and play with it.
I mean,
And
you
I
can wear out your tongue fast on a tooth.
It kind of tingles or itches a little bit, which I thought was a good sign. That must be something is happening. Something
Well,
is going.
If you're getting a sensation out of it, there is something happening. And the only worry about it is if it takes off and starts growing. And then you go back to your doctor and get after it. Yeah.
It's not getting bigger, but it's a hard little thing, and I don't like it. I mean,
get
what
that.
wants a big lump on our forehead, right?
Well, you know, you have to do bangs like this and cover it
I
up.
have bangs in case you
I
have
know.
the
I know, I
hairdresser
see
said,
them,
"You
but
always wear
I-
bangs?" I said, yes.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, it's, you know, all of us girls, we like that vanity thing. See, I've got a little spot right there.
Yeah,
I've had it played with for a long time and it just keeps coming back. And it's not a problem. And so, you know, when I have some silver nitrate, I'll probably put it on there and burn it off again. But I would stimulate it, but I'd also run the programs on it. Run
Yeah,
your
I-
skin program on your resonance and run it for an hour.
yes, I run it at least that long, and I do run it twice a day. And then I go, John has sent, like I said, 2 time waivers, and one of them has the skin. And I will even hook up with all the pads and wires and whatever and run that, but we're just not getting.
Well, the
And
other thing I would say is, again, go back and run coherence. You will, the other night when I was playing with this lady and I gave her those, she's not as old as you are, but she's approaching it. She's 82. And I watched her, I ran Pure, and then we waited a little bit with a headache. She said she had a headache right here. And then we ran that program, and I said, now let's wait a little bit. And I said, I want you to go run coherence. She ran that and the headache was gone completely. Then I put her back on to Pure because she was still upset. And I knew that's what caused the headache anyway. So as she ran Pure, about 2 feet above her head was like this little veil came wandering down. And it got to about her knees, and I watched her every second just relax and relax. One of the things you've got is anxiety about what it looks like. So get that out of you and maybe you'll go there.
Okay, we'll try it. I just, I mean, obviously it's not cancer, so therefore count your blessings, but it's just, it's irritating. And that's really one of the reasons I said, yeah, I'll buy that Healy.
Well, it may not go away just because you get irritated at it. Fall in love with it and it'll probably go away.
That's going to be hard to do. But
I know, but that stops your anxiety, honey. You know, when we fall in love with what our quote unquote problem is, they get embarrassed and go away because it's not necessary anymore.
Oh, okay. A little psychology tonight.
So you just go into that mirror and you go, oh, you're so lovely.
Yeah, you're so cute. Right. Okay, now, you know, you all keep talking about coherence, and I guess, you know, I am old and new to this, and I just say, I never quite know where you want me to go to find coherence.
Okay, John, you're up.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have to resign from the call.
You see, he's not going to answer us.
Yes, he is. He's getting his Healy back out.
Okay, what
One more
program?
quick
John?
question to think about, and you can answer after this, but what about lung infections, bronchitis, pneumonia, typical things like that? Where do you go?
any place, bioenergetic and harmony in 1 and 2 and meridian 1 and 2, take a look at those programs and look for a nerve meridian. That one's coming up on healing and then do lungs and then do anything that calms you down because you're not breathing. Learn a breathing exercise. I can teach
Okay, you said
that.
bioenergetic.
Yes, because there's
were the
lungs in
others?
there. And you want to do, I would go to mental balance also and create anything that says harmony in your body. Your pink app, I mean, not pink app, on your pink app, of course, is the Pure program that's in the gold. The other one that's in the gold program is balance
Okay,
and care.
thank you.
Mom, Pat, you see relax on there?
Yes, I
On that
do.
gold-
Yep.
Yeah, that one's yours. It has your name on it.
Okay. Okay.
And release. These programs, the gold program is fantastic because you want to release that tension. You want to release the anxiety around anything. And breathing is a lot of anxiety. It's also about grief emotionally.
Okay. Well, the older you get, the less patience you have. And I never had a lot to begin with, but I'll try anything you tell me to do.
Okay, now you're in bioenergetic support.
Okay.
Okay. So see where coherence is?
Oh, I do. Okay, that's where it is, under bioenergetic support. Okay.
Okay, now the bioenergetic boost that's there
Yeah.
on that same screen, that's
Yep.
for viruses.
I don't have any viruses.
Well, we have one floating around us all the time. So if you've been out and about and you've been around people that have been sick with anything, you come in and run that program.
Okay. Okay.
And right behind it, run coherence.
Okay.
And COVID is a virus.
Yeah, I know
Yes,
that.
it is. Okay, so any of the viruses, even, I have fever blisters from time to time, and it's an allergy to ampicillin that's fed to chicken. So
Yeah.
if I eat chicken out and about, I can get blisters. And I was given ampicillin one time in the hospital and came out of the hospital and I looked like the next person that should be in the Ubangi tribe. My lips were all swollen up. I couldn't even swallow. So the other day I had a blister. I went and ran the bioenergetics boost.
Okay.
And I turned around, ran the skin, and I turned around and ran coherence. And that blister was gone faster than most all the time.
Oh,
Because it takes about, but I know some other things to do internally for it. So it takes normally, if you just have a blister, it takes 2 weeks for it to go away. And then you've got a big old honking scab on your face.
Right.
That's not pretty either, Miss Pat. So
right. Yeah.
those are, you have to think about the source of whatever your pain is.
I do get once in a while a fever blister, cold sore, whatever you want to call it. I do have a prescription and I of course can't think of the name of it right now. And if I feel that tingling and no one's coming, if I put it on right away, it's gone.
Right.
But I will try your method because suddenly this little prescription thing that used to be probably $20 is now about $120 if you can get it, which
Right.
is
Yeah. So you run the programs because they work, baby, they
I will.
work.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. All right, you guys, I'm signing off. I've had fun with you tonight.
Yeah, no, I think
Thank
it's-
you very much.
Every-
You're very
Chris,
welcome.
as you go off, so when people want to work with you, they just call to set up a consult with you.
Right.
Kind
You
of
have to set up a
framework.
time. And my consults, depending on what's going on, are usually about an hour and a half, and they're $125. If I've only asked a few questions, if I'm asked questions about the Healy only, there is no charge for that. But if you want me to help you to become a more balanced person, and we'll use the Healy to help that, but I go into, say, doing some supplements or helping you change diet and so forth and so on, that costs a little bit of money. And if
Okay.
I'm only there for a half an hour, I'll, if you get on a program of several things, then I always discount that, and I discount it always to my elderly people. That's just the way it is, until I became one, and it's kind of snuck up on me.
That's
I don't know
very
how that happened.
reasonable.
No, that's good. Okay, thanks. And I want everyone to have that so they know that they can reach out to you and get that resource. And we're really, really grateful for what you shared here
Yes,
tonight.
thank you so
Renee, that
much.
was just
you.
amazing. I could tell by the screen and the faces that were here that they were very attentive and really, I even had people in the chat going that they want to get this recording because they feel all the content that was delivered. So we're very
Wonderful.
grateful for what you shared tonight. Very, very
I
grateful.
am blessed. Thank you.
You're very generous to share. Thank you very
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
All right.
Very knowledgeable.
Thanks.
Yes,
Thank
very.
you.
So I think we're going to wrap this up because we've gone on there. I'll say one last thing as I wrap up just from Healy. If you have any of your friends that, want to get a Healy or you want to get to support them, that this discount, this volume pricing stuff that they have is till the end of the month. If you wait till the end of the month and try and order with the Healy system that they currently have, an order might not go through. It's not like Amazon. I'm just letting you know. I'm not trying to do anything else here, but if you got a family member or you know somebody else and you want to get one of these little devices, it's only $1,500 from what we've talked about. And I think it's probably the best investment going for your health and well-being. And so I just wanted to put that little bit out there so you were aware of it. And if not, well, we'll see you guys next week. If you want to show up, we'll be here next Thursday.
Are you gonna,
Thank you for doing this.
are we gonna talk about the muscle testing or
Yep.
Just-
I'll ask
That's
Anita to
good.
do that. We'll do a little more of the muscle testing and see if we can do and sharing that, Phil.
that'd be good.
But
All right.
okay,
Thank
All
you.
right. You bet. See you. buddy.
Mhm. Bye.
Bye.
Give me a call, Diane.